And they're off.
Prince Bold was a bit slowly away in this white satin novices hurdle. Rowlandson's Jewels also dropped out at the start. They come down to the first of the 13 flights in this 3-mile, 1 furlong trip, and out the gap led over the first from Nick the Brief, and then comes Rustle. Granny's Bay racing on the outside of Vulcan Warrior, and after these is Kapili Cone. They're being followed by Pals Galore. 2 circuits to race. Out the gap, taking a keen hold in the lead from Vulcan Warrior, Nick the Brief against the rails, and then comes Rustle. After these is Granny's Bay, who's followed by Kapili Cone. After this one is Pals Galore. They're being followed by Forever Blue. So they go out into the country with another Seeker against the rails, and then comes Crumpet Delight on the inside of Prince Bold, and the back marker is Rowlandson's Jewels. Still going on towards the second. Now Vulcan Warrior has taken up the running. Vulcan Warrior goes to the second in the lead from Nick the Brief. The early leader out the gap, being steadied. A little bit slow over that one in the rear was Crumpet Delight as they go on towards the third. Vulcan Warrior and Nick the Brief, they're the first two from out the gap. Then comes another Seeker who's making headway on the inside, followed by Rustle, and then comes Kapili Cone and Forever Blue chasing the leading line. One more flight on the far side to be jumped this time. Vulcan Warrior was the leader over that one from Nick the Brief, then out the gap. On the rails is another Seeker, and then comes Rustle, who's followed by Kapili Cone. After these is Granny's Bay, and then comes Forever Blue. Towards the rear, Prince Bold, who's followed by Pals Galore. As they come back towards the straight, next flight they jump is the 5th. Still got a long run before they get back to it. No change amongst the leaders. It's Nick the Brief who shows in front. Nick the Brief from Vulcan Warrior. Those two just having changed positions from the previous flight. They're being followed by Out the Gap, and after this one races Rustle, who's on the outside of the leading line. Prince Bold is taking slightly closer order. Another Seeker still going the shortest way. At the 5th, and Nick the Brief has a narrow lead there. Nick the Brief from Vulcan Warrior out the gap. Then comes another Seeker, Rustle and Forever Blue. And behind these comes Kapili Cone as they jump the next, and then Prince Bold. Granny's Bay continuing to race in the mid-division. Coming up to the flight which will be the last next time round. And the leader is Nick the Brief. Nick the Brief, Crumpet Delight being ridden along in the rear of the field as Nick the Brief comes past the stands out in front. Out the gap in second place, Rustle and Vulcan Warrior dispute third, and then comes another Seeker there, followed by Granny's Bay. After this one is Forever Blue, Prince Bold just being pushed along. After this one comes Pals Galore, and they go out into the country with Rowlandson's Jewels at the rear of the field, and then comes Crumpet Delight and Kapili Cone, who's now dropped back last, about 3 lengths behind the rest of the field. Nick the Brief has it, though, by a length and a half from out the gap, about 3 Rustle, and right with this one is Vulcan Warrior on their inside still. There's about a length and a half back to Forever Blue, who's making quick headway on the outside as another Seeker just loses a little bit of ground, and they're followed by Pals Galore, and after this one races Granny's Bay, and Rowlandson's Jewels now being scrubbed along, and they're clear of Crumpet Delight, Kapili Cone and Prince Bold. Another Seeker very slow that flight and loses considerable ground as they go to the middle one on the far side. This is the 5th from the finish, and it's Nick the Brief and out the gap who are leading from Rustle, and then Vulcan Warrior who's being ridden along. Pals Galore also being driven vigorously, and then comes Forever Blue as they go on towards the final flight on the far side. And they come to it with Nick the Brief still just the leader from out the gap, and then comes Rustle. Forever Blue on the inside, Granny's Bay and Vulcan Warrior in 5th place. And then comes Pals Galore, who's in 6th, and these have gone clear of the others. As they come back towards the straight, 3 more to jump. And it's Nick the Brief who's out in front, about half a length to out the gap, 2 lengths away, and now ridden along is Rustle, who disputes that position with Forever Blue. Vulcan Warrior is getting several hefty reminders. Behind this one race is Granny's Bay, who's losing a bit of touch, and then comes Pulse Galore, and they're clear of another Seeker, Crumpet Delight and Co. Back towards the straight, and now it looks as though there's only 5 with much of a chance. Nick the Brief still just in front of Out the Gap. Vulcan Warrior being driven along hard on the outside. Rustle is still there, and Forever Blue is chasing up the leaders on the inside as they come down towards the first in the straight, the third from the finish. Nick the Brief in the white colours is the leader. The yellow and blue right on the inside, that's Forever Blue. The brown and orange colours of Rustle in third, and they've got about 4 lengths clear now of Vulcan Warrior, who's trying to hang on at the second last, and Nick the Brief not quite as fluent as Rustle there, and they're just 3 lengths clear of Vulcan Warrior, who's gone into third. Forever Blue has dropped back in 4th place, coming down towards the final flight of hurdles, and out in front it's Rustle. Rustle who's going to land with Nick the Brief. There's not too much between them, and Nick the Brief is fighting back, but Rustle has the advantage now by a couple of lengths, and Rustle is quickening it, although Nick the Brief is trying hard to get back into it, and Russell's just tending to hang away a bit to his right, but he's going to hold on as they come on up towards the line. It's Rustle by about a length and a half from Nick the Brief. Vulcan Warrior in third. Rustle goes clear from Nick the Brief and Vulcan Warrior.